Hello, everybody. Welcome into
1 minute until showtime.
a Wednesday edition of the Computer America Show. We got a terrific show planned for you. In the second hour, we're going to do computer and technology news, brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. And in the first hour, I am so pleased to announce we have our good friend and buddy, correspondent, ethical hacker Charles Tendell is here with us to talk about all the things that go on in the world of hacking and security. We're going to be talking to him in the first hour of the show, and we're going to be starting in about less than 30 seconds. So sit back, relax, enjoy 2 hours of Computer America as we begin.
You have to use the old intro to the Craig Crossman.
10 seconds.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting live, it's America's longest-running national radio talk show on computers, Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. Look for Craig's weekly column in your favorite newspaper. This show is being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. Keep it here for technology news, computer products, guest interviews, and your phone calls. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello, and welcome into the Computer America Show. It's the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers and technology. Computer America is heard around the world and coast to coast. And I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
And here we are. It's Hump Day, the middle of the week. Thanks to Charles for making me say that on a more easily and regular basis. But welcome to us. We got a terrific show planned for you. I don't know if we're going to be able to keep him on for the second hour. He said no, but who knows. But if we don't, the second hour will be brought to you, or will be Computer Technology News brought to you by Slimware Utilities. They are the official optimization software of Computer America. But maybe we can twist his arm to stay with us in part of the second hour. Anyway, in the first hour, yes, certified ethical hacker Charles Tendell is here talking about the underbelly, the seamy, the world of hacking, and it's not necessarily seamy. Sometimes it's a good thing, you know. So, but he's here to talk about it. I always call him a white hat, but I think he says he's a bit of a gray hat, but we're so glad to have him here. If you have a comment or question for Charles or for myself, give us a call at 347-884-8881. That's 347-884-8881. We'll get you on, and it will get you through. If you don't want to go on the air, you can go to any page at ComputerAmerica.com. That's the internet home of our radio broadcast. On the upper right-hand portion of any screen there, all right, any page, just says submit a question. It's a link. Click it. It'll take you to our question submission page. You can type in the question, hit the submit button. Ben and I will see it instantaneously, and we'll act accordingly upon whatever it is that you just type to us. The other thing is you can also watch the Computer America Show. We have live video streaming available. Just go to any page at ComputerAmerica.com. The menu bar there, it says Show Lounge on any page. Just click that, and you will be instantly teleported to our live video streaming page. You'll be joined to the show already in progress, and you can watch the show. You can see myself, you can see Charles, you can see Ben. Ben also has the technology to display websites, videos, movies, anything in the background, so you can also see that as well. Just makes things for more interactive. Anything else, Ben, before we bring our guest on for the show?
No. As long as you mentioned the archive, we had a very interesting conversation with Josh Boykin for our Gamer Tuesday. Had a lot to talk about, and including all the latest games. And yeah, please go check that out. Other than that, though, no, I'm good to go.
Okay, well, as I mentioned, Charles Tendell is a certified ethical hacker, and as a certified ethical hacker, hacking forensic investigator, and information security professional, Charles brings to the table, I guess it's getting near to 20 years now of professional experience in cybercrime and investigations. He holds certifications accredited by both the Department of Defense and the American National Standards Institute. He joined the U.S. Army as a missile defense crew member. Charles quickly rose to leadership roles, consulting with military intelligence, military police investigations, and the U.S. Army Criminal Investigations Division on cybercrime, digital recovery, and hacking techniques. Charles is here with us now. Hey, Charles, welcome back into Computer America. How have you been?
I have been busy, and yeah, it is. It does sound like a long time, and I think it is getting close to 20 years now. It's kind of scary. I am the old guy in computers now. This is,
That's right. You don't fit the the typical demographic is the pimply teenager who is socially misfit and wants to.
Oh, come on. That was the computer user of the 90s. That's not the user of today.
oh, please. The user of today is. Hold on a second. Let me take a selfie. It is.
I mean, the user of today is everyone.
Yeah.
No. The computer consumer today is everyone. When you get into hardcore users, you get into people like you and well, I was going to say Craig, but then I realized, no, not so much.
Well, listen, it's a pleasure. Now, you've since moved. You used to be in Colorado or Denver or someplace like that. And now you're.
I haven't officially moved yet. My wife and I set out on this journey across the country almost a year ago now. We got rid of everything we owned, and we just we kept saying now's not a good time, now's not a good time, and then finally we were just like, now is a good time. It's never going to be the best time. We're just going to leave.
Got rid of everything you own, your kids, dogs, everything.
No, the kid and the dog are with us. Couldn't get rid of them. We tried.
But they keep finding their way home, right? Exactly.
Right. They keep coming back. I mean, or the dogs go out and find her. I don't know what's going on. It's weird. So, but we got rid of everything we owned, and we kind of hit the road, and we've had the privilege of seeing at least half the country so far, and right now we've stopped, and we're in North Carolina, and we are happy right now. It is actually a place we didn't expect to be or even see, and it's turned out to be pretty cool.
Well, I hope that you kind of stay there, because that means we'll be neighbors.
Indeed. Except you're from Florida, so I don't know if we can hang out.
We can.
There's a rule.
Don't let Craig's bronze complexion fool you. He's a New Yorker. He's a New Yorker.
Well, wait. Let me see if I can dig up that picture of him in the disco get up with the white belt. I know.
Oh yes, that's a good
I
picture.
think we're out of time.
That's a good picture.
Yeah, but you can see this picture in the show archives located at computeramerica.com.
So why don't you just let our listeners really quickly know when you say you're a certified ethical hacker, what does that mean? Just kind of refresh our listeners' memories.
As a certified ethical hacker, I am charged with bringing the same tools and techniques as your malicious hacker, but bringing it to a point where you as a consumer or you as a company can actually use it for the good of your company or your organization or you as an individual. What I do is people bring me on board to hack them before the bad guys hack them and give them the ability to forward think. It's actually coming up now as being the new buzzword is I'm an offensive security engineer, which is fun to say, but it just means that I am a hacker with government credibility.
Okay.
No?
Not that you're offensive in any way, it's just you're an offensive.
I could be offensive in some ways, depending on who's there. If you have an in-house security guy and I get in, that could offend him pretty quickly. That works that way.
The term is offensive hacking engineer. Did you say it was?
Offensive security engineer.
Security engineer. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you hear the term like black hat, white hat, gray hat. Which hat do you wear, and what does that mean?
Well, because of who I am and how I believe, you cannot be complete white hat. If you are a complete white hat, you're going to lose. That's just the way that works. The white hat guys are the ones that have never delved deep into the black hat world. They've never gone far enough to see beyond the books or the regular instructions that they're getting from the school. And if they are put toe to toe with a black hat, they're going to lose 9 times out of 10. You do have those other ones. Then you have the black hats, which are self-taught. They don't possess a certification. There's no ethical board or control for them. There's nothing out there. These are the guys that have eat, sleep, and breathe in binary, and they will tear the world apart if they have their way. But it's something that we have to kind of feel out, because the black hats are the reason that you're able to use the technology that you're using right now to talk to me. Without them and bending the rules and breaking things, you wouldn't have Google Hangouts, you wouldn't have any other fun things. So right there in the middle is where I like to be as a gray hat. I'm not completely black hat, and I'm not anywhere close to being completely white hat. So I am that wonderful in-between person.
Okay, and then you have a company that other companies hire out to. Now, they still do things like penetration testing, pen testing? Is that still part of what it is that you do, or?
We do. We are an ethical hacking firm, and it's called Azorian Cybersecurity. What we do is companies and organizations bring us on as kind of, well, imagine you sitting there as a company, you're wondering whether or not you can get hacked. You hire us to come on board and to actually hack you, like real world, real life scenarios. We are going to start with nothing and show up on your doorstep a few days later with, yeah, we know where you live, we can now control your BMW, and by the way, here's that check that we cut ourselves for $500,000 back.
Wow. Now, how do people find you?
Google.
Well, yeah, the botnet known as Google. You can Google for me, or you can go to my website. It's azorian.io, azorian.io. Or if you go out there on Google, you can Google Charles Tendell. I'm out there. I also did start Hackers List, which got a lot of press last year, which was a very, very fun thing. Let's see, the other side of it is if you're out and you're in the community, I do speak a lot on television or at conferences. And if you're in the D.C. area coming toward the 23rd of this month, watch out for me, because I'm going to be speaking at a conference that's trying to debate the ROI on effective penetration testing. Is it worth it for your organization to hire someone like me? And I'm going to prove why.
Okay, so Azorian.io is the website, and you can check that out as well. We'll have links to that. We have links to it right now at computeramerica.com, and you can see that in more detail. So let's talk about what's in the news. I know just recently, people who've owned Apple products, Macs, and everything have always felt a sense of security. I don't know if that's a false sense of security, but a sense of security.
Say security or superiority? Because
well, whatever. However you define it, as being sort of quote-unquote immune from all of the nasty malware that goes on out there. And I know just recently in the news, the first true ransomware product was discovered for the Mac. Ransomware, again, being a program that installs itself after you open up an email or a Word document with the macros. We'll get into the details of that. Basically, it goes out and encrypts all of your files on your Mac. You can't get to them, and it says, hey, if you want them back, you have to pay us this amount, and then we'll decrypt everything on your hard drive. Is that basically it? And for ransomware?
Well, here's the fun thing about it. In the title itself, it explains to you why that Macs, yes, do have it. It's not a superiority complex. It is that Macs are naturally more secure than just about than a Windows machine. It's the first ever ransomware in the wild for a Mac. Now, yes, Macs are naturally more secure than most computers on the internet for a couple of different reasons. The base being that it's a Unix-based system. It's based on FreeBSD. Unlike in Windows, there are different levels of permission, there are different levels of security that's naturally built into the operating system of a Mac. In Windows, well, it's security by obscurity. It's all hidden. It all may or may not be there, and you can easily get hacked. Now, to go beyond that, in order for you to have actually been hit by this particular piece of malware, you had to you had to actually be a power user. You had to be someone who's going to be using BitTorrents, or you have to understand how to do certain security tools to be able to allow your Mac computer to install from third-party or unsigned sources. Much like on your mobile phone, you have to say, yeah, allow it to install apps from outside the App Store. So 90% of users out there are still protected, and the people who did get hit are few and very, very far between.
Okay, now this is also in part because Apple pretty much owns everything that goes on the Mac. I mean, they are in charge of everything. Let me rephrase that. Because they make the hardware, they make a lot of the software, and a lot of the software has to go through an approval process I mean, it's a closed system, is what I'm saying. It's much more of a closed system than Windows.
It is a closed system, but it's not the only reason. I mean, Microsoft and Windows itself are still closed source. At least I think they are. I know there was a rumor about open sourcing Windows at some point, but Windows itself, or in Mac, the security is built on top of. That's why it's so functional. I built my OS for this exact piece of hardware, so it's designed to work with these components, not it's designed to work with all components.
And what about Windows 10? Didn't they have the privacy tool, though, that is supposed to deal with a lot of this in Windows 10?
If Windows 10 is anything like 8, 7, NT, 2000, XP, Vista, or any of the other ones, no. I mean, it's as a Windows user, you do have the ability to turn on certain features. You do have the ability to turn on certain securities. But because Windows has such a large market share and is so easy to break into, you become a target just by using it. Windows is what most hacks and most exploits are written to. Windows are where most of the bad guys are going to be attacked.
Okay. All right. Well, so getting back to this issue, is this malware basically disguises itself as a Word document, and you have to enable macros for it to install? This is what.
Or is it, you are the 1 millionth winner. Please click this, and you claim your prize. Like,
no.
How are they getting people to fall for this?
For this particular one, you had, in order to be able to get infected, you had to go and install a piece of software called Transmission. Transmission is a BitTorrent client, and if you're familiar with BitTorrent, it's basically the peer-to-peer network of Ben's generation. Mm-hmm. So it's in order to get this particular piece of malware, you had to install that application. And during the install process is when this particular piece of malware or ransomware gets installed on your machine. So you're giving it permission. So unlike in Windows, right? In Windows, you can just open the attachment, and that particular piece of software will assume that you, as the person that opened it, have permission to do literally everything on your computer. Well, with Mac, you have to install this piece of software. It asks you for your password to authenticate to that level. Well, first, it asks you, are you sure you want to install this? It was installed from the internet. And then it's going to ask you or remind you that this is from an outside source. We recommend you change your security settings if you want to install it, and you're going to have to jump through those hoops, and then asks you for your password to install the particular piece of software. So to get this malware, you had to have been in a particular group of people that that are somewhat computer savvy.
Okay, because I do see that when I download anything on my Mac, I'm using Yosemite right now. I haven't upgraded to El Capitan, but it was even long before that. When you download anything on the internet and you say run it, it comes up and says, hey, I see it immediately. The window says, hey, this was downloaded from the internet. You sure you want to run it? Mm-hmm. So I see that all the time. And but you're saying it goes beyond that admonishment.
It does. I mean, it's because of the way Mac and OS X are built. Or wait, what did I used to say? OS 10 is built. Because of the way it's built. The security is actually more robust than just about any other operating system. So, like for example, just like in your example of I can open an attachment, run what appears to be a Word document and get a virus. On Mac, you actually have to go through the full process of installing this software before you can be infected. And you also, in this particular window, had to be one of those few people that installed this particular piece of software on this particular date before it got reported to Apple, and Apple inevitably patched the bug.
Yes, they did. There was a certificate, I believe, they went to patch. So. And also the company that you mentioned, what was it? Started with a T.
It's Transmission.
Transmission, right. They also came up with a version of their product to circumnavigate that. Actually, there were two versions. The first version, they did it, but it didn't clear out the other one. The second version, it cleared it out, so you were safe.
Right.
But with Windows, you can still get ransomware. The other method of delivery is through Word, and I think Word basically in Windows has macro turned on,
through
right?
a macro, and Word let you execute those macros. So
right.
It would be in a Word document, which would be filled with these macros, which would then essentially install it on your computer for you.
Well, Microsoft did recently come out with an add-on to Windows Defender It's an anti-hacker add-on as opposed to being just an antivirus or an anti-malware that supposedly detects malicious traffic. It's both good and it's bad. They're looking for signatures that are outbound that could potentially indicate that you did get hacked, so they're looking for indicators of compromise. But they're also inspecting in real time the traffic that leaves your computer. No big deal to most people because they've been doing it for years, and if you're using Google, Google's been siphoning off your information since its inception. So it's nothing new for the privacy advocate to say, yet again, it's another company that's going to suck down your private information. But for the macro particular instance, you can just turn them off. And like I've told everybody, and I even told Craig, and I even told you, Ben, way back when, that it's a matter of, look, don't click an attachment from when you're not expecting one. Don't even open links or emails from people when you're not really expecting something that's going to send you to do any type of activity on your computer.
I remember you sent lots of emails to Ben.
Click this, Ben. Click it. Ben, click this one.
Suffice to say, I have yet to see Charles Tendell's face pop up on my screen, which I assume is the malware he's trying to send me. It's like, the whole Jurassic Park thing.
I'm totally going to write that one now, and I'm going to make sure that the next time I'm on, it's just going to be,
Right. You didn't say the magic words. Charles Tendell.
The dinosaurs are running rampant. Okay, so it sounds to me like then this was more of a not necessarily proof of confidence, but we're a bit of an alarmist. I mean, Mac people don't have to run out and get all paranoid. Then the average Mac user really isn't going to be susceptible to this.
Correct.
Does that mean that Mac people can kind of relax, or do they still need to be vigilant at this point?
If you're a Mac user, you're not your average computer user already, and this is where Ben gets the whole, it's a superiority complex. No, we spent a buttload of money on our computer, okay? We spent a buttload of money on our computer, which means that we bought it for either graphic design, for pictures, for music, for some sort of media, or because you're a professional hacker and you needed the balance of the word. So
don't say that there isn't the element of Macs are cool. Because they do put a lot of marketing in. They are the cool computer.
I think the term you're looking for is hipster.
All right. So there's definitely an element of hipster too. But I do know a lot of professionals who do use a Mac for professional reasons. So I'll grant you that.
But here's the thing though, right? So it's how many regular basic users. I mean, like Craig's rocking his iMac and he's rocking it out. He's been rocking it for years. I don't even know if he upgraded. He bought that specific machine because he needed a machine that was form and function. It was bought for a purpose. You don't get too many Mac users that are just like, no, I just want a Mac for no other reason. I just want a Mac. But you do get them. You do get those users. So it's not necessarily a superiority complex. It's most Mac users are buying their Mac for a purpose.
Yep, exactly.
Maybe I have a bit of a different view because going to college and going into the classroom and seeing all those creepy glowing apples, and it's like a sea of apples, and it's like none of you actually need that, but your parents bought you a good computer for school, so. Good for you.
Apple was a leader in the educational market for a long, long time, and then, of course, things kind of changed. But they still have a wonderful educational program. I mean, students get all kinds of special discounts and everything.
They do.
If you want more of a reason, to tip the scale that Mac is a better choice for everyone on the planet. We have the FBI who's still confused at how to use Mac and Apple technology trying to break encryption. Okay, but Android phone and Windows phone, they're all buddy and all chummy with. So there's that.
I did hear about that, but and correct me if I'm wrong on this one, but the reason that Android is so easy to hack into compared to Apple is because Apple has this closed ecosystem of hardware that you can use, whereas Android, it's not exactly open source, but you can put in a lot of different hardware, and so to be able to, let's say, spoof a fingerprint reader, spoof the screen and everything, so you can input a different code. Like Apple only works with Apple, and if you take apart and try to use a bootleg, let's say thumbprint reader that's already assigned to you, then Apple just won't work. But Android, yeah, you could probably get away with it.
That's a yes and a no. The one thing about Android is it's not necessarily a matter of hackability, right? That's one side of the spectrum where it does make it extremely easy to hack an Android device. The other side of the spectrum is Google itself. Like, Google will openly hand over your personal data to any government agency for any reason whatsoever, with no question. Okay, that's the other aspect of it. So you're either getting botneted by Google, or you're getting hacked because your phone is inherently vulnerable. So yes, if you're running an Android phone, even if you're running like super encryption, you're running all this other wonderful stuff, they're still pretty likely that you can get hacked because, didn't we have a flashlight app that was easily installed from the App Store?
Way back when. I remember that.
That did the same thing. I'm going to take everything on your phone, and people were paying thousands in Bitcoin for it.
Now why not just deal with it on a case-by-case basis? For example, this cell phone was an Apple 5C, I believe it was, from the people who were involved in the shooting.
The San Bernardino shooting.
Why couldn't the FBI say, okay, we just need to get this information off this phone. Can you help us just unlock this phone, and so we can get into it and get this information off of it? And
now we have one of the biggest legal battles of our day. So
yeah, but I'm saying, what would have been wrong with it? I don't quite understand if the Apple would help the FBI just for that one phone, because it's been proven that there might be some data that they could get to help thwart any further attacks. I mean, I could see that. Not some master program that will allow the FBI just to willy-nilly go into any phone they want to, but on a case-by-case basis, what's wrong with Apple, with the FBI going to Apple and say, okay, we have this phone and we have this pending. We need your help to unlock this phone. Would you do it? What's wrong with that?
Now, Apple does help in those particular cases, but Apple specifically says to people, look, we cannot get into iDevices that have a particular encryption on it because of the way they're encrypted. We can't get into the device itself, period. We can get you in using iCloud. We can get you in using all these other wonderful mechanisms that they connect to our infrastructure. Now, that's kind of the rub. Okay, we can help you get back anything that's stored in iCloud. We can help you do that. We can't get you into the physical device because we don't know the PIN code, and there's no way for us to brute force that PIN code. And that's what's going on. They're saying here's the other portion of this that most people don't realize. The FBI screwed up. They had access to iCloud, but in their hurry, in their haste to be gung ho and to be the winners in this situation, they reset the iCloud password. And in order to now access the iCloud, guess what? You have to have it authorized by an existing device that's connected to iCloud.
Yeah.
The existing device was his iPhone, and without access to the iPhone, they can't authorize themselves back into iCloud, and now neither can Apple.
Okay. All right. So there's the conundrum that you've just very aptly explained to our listeners of why this happened. When you say you can't brute force, because you figure, well, a PIN number, I know it's larger now. They've added a couple of digits.
It's either 4 or 6, but I think the 5C still uses 4. Maybe.
4, yeah. So that's 10,000 numbers. Why couldn't they put in 001, 002, 003? Because what happens after somebody tries, the phone bricks itself? That's
correct. What happens? So because this phone was a government issued device, because it was to be used with because it's being used with what's called an MDM, or a mobile device manager, certain things were required to be enabled on that device. One of which is a setting in it that you can set in your phone, that is in my phone, that is in everyone I know's phone, to erase that phone after 10 failed login attempts. Okay, so they're trying to avoid having data on the phone wiped. So they're like, we could try this combination. If that feature wasn't enabled, yeah, they could just sit there and infinitely try codes until it came in and essentially brute force the device. But they can't do that. Now, there was a point in time where you could actually take the phone apart and actually reset that counter in earlier versions of iOS. But I think since iOS 8, you haven't been able to do this, or since certain version in iOS 8, you haven't been able to do it, so they can't do it there. So they're pretty much stuck between a rock and a hard place. And what they're trying to get Apple to do, is to create a tool, to create a software, a version of iOS that will literally bypass all of the privacy and security mechanisms on the device so that they can get into this one device and piece together 18 minutes of a timeline.
Is that possible?
No. Well, yes. I mean, they could create the software. They could do it. They could very well, with giving the right time, the right resources, they could create this software. Here's the caveat. They create this software, the government's going to take it from them, and now the government will have the ability to do this on literally every single phone on the planet. Now, can they do it OTA? They sure can. Can they do it via some sort of weird update? They sure can. Can they do it where they plug it in and do it there? They sure can. So if you want to give the U.S. government the ability to reach out and dip into anything on your phone around the world, support them, because that's the only way they're going to get it. Me and everyone else I know are going to hold on to this and say, nope, not happening.
All right, you're listening to the Computer America Show. Charles Tendell, certified ethical hacker, is joining us for the hour. We're talking about right now accessing the FBI accessing your Apple iPhone and what's involved in the story behind it and why it's added.
And the end of privacy as we know it.
It's the end of the privacy as we wait.
We will be right back with lots more. Please stay with us. You're listening to Computer America.
Sometimes disaster strikes. Data can be lost due to many different. It's a suite of highly effective and thorough data recovery software for Windows operating systems. ZA is suitable for home users and small businesses who need a powerful data recovery solution for Windows and Linux file systems.
Go to z-a-recovery.com.
Sometimes disaster strikes. Data can be lost due to many different reasons: accidental reformatting, power spikes, virus attacks. Zero Assumption Recovery provides a suite of highly effective and thorough data recovery software for Windows operating systems. ZA is suitable for home users and small businesses who need a powerful data recovery solution for Windows and Linux file systems.
Go to z-a-recovery.com.
Hi, this is Craig Crossman, host of the Computer America Show. You have important meetings to schedule. Your company's getting ready for its IPO, and you're in charge of the PTA fundraiser this month. So how do you coordinate everyone to be available at the same time? Are you still using emails, phone calls, even text messages to schedule meetings with a group of people? How's that working out for you? Not so great, huh? It's a fact that every day, millions of people suffer from scheduling headaches. Well, with Doodle, scheduling meetings with a group of people is quick and easy. With Doodle, you can easily propose available times to each member. Each one checks off the times that they are available, and then you simply pick the time that works best for the group, all in an easy-to-read display that integrates with your existing calendar. Nothing could be more simple. Give Doodle a try for free, and like millions of Doodle users, you'll truly see how easy it is to find the perfect date and time for all your meetings. That's www.doodle.com.
Ah, Bear Claws, the king of pastry. Marty Winston with the News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America, this time the Stryker Garage Parking Sensor. Well, only a few people pull their cars into the garage using bump and crunch to know they've pulled in far enough. Many others tend to get short and stop the car a little too far back to be able, for example, to open the hatch and get the groceries. A different kind of noise can tell you when to stop. Ultrasonics, great for measuring distances, range detection. The Stryker Garage Parking Sensor has an ultrasonic head you double-stick mount at bumper level. A cable leads up to an octagonal head that holds 4 AA cells, the logic, and LEDs. As you approach it, it first lights green, then yellow as you get closer to your stop here point, and red when you arrive. Bottom line, a Stryker Garage parking sensor helps you put your car where you want it. Marty Winston, News Tips Bulletin for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show here at 33 minutes past the hour, and I don't know. I don't know if the bear claw is the king of pastries. It seems rather presumptuous of him. But yeah, welcome back to the Computer America Show. And this entire first hour, we have Charles Tendell. He has graciously agreed to be here because there is so much going on in the hacking security field lately that, and especially with this whole government thing, the government FBI, San Bernardino shooting people that, and we were just getting into really the implications behind giving a government agency access to one phone is essentially tantamount. The way that the way that they're asking for would essentially give them access to really any Apple device on the planet. And of course, give a mouse a cookie, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Give a mouse a cookie, they're going to want your house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, before we continue, just quick, we got a it was more of a comment from one of our listeners saying when Charles, we were describing if it was a white hat or a black hat or a gray hat. Anyway, this is from he says the questioning was hi Charles, Charles' hat is 50 Shades of Gray.
Oh, that sounds like Fort.
No, it wasn't.
We do not condone.
I feel like that's going to be my new book. 50 Shades of Gray, the hacker's story.
50 Shades of Gray hat hacking. I like it.
I do. Yes.
But yeah, and I think one thing that I think a lot of people know from a couple different places, but they've heard this term backdoor, and encryption is the most secure encryption is one with obviously zero backdoors. Apple, it seems like, installed zero backdoors for this.
Why would they? See, that's the other aspect of what's going on. And if you look at Apple and you look at Google and you look at all the other technologies out there that the government has and the government has approved of, Apple has slowly but surely been pushed out of the government sector since Steve Jobs died. Now, it's not to say that Steve Jobs wasn't trying to rub elbows with these guys. It's that Tim Cook came in and pretty much said, yeah, I'm not helping you. Here's the privacy that we want to be able to maintain for our users. Zero backdoors means we can't get in, even if you break your phone. It means this is why when you go to the Apple Store, up until there once was a time where this wasn't true, but you go to the Apple Store and they ask you for your password because they can't log into your machine without it. And there used to be a time where they could drop your computer into single user mode and kind of muck around and gain root access to the machine. I know I walked into many a Apple store and did it for them, and just to do it, like sitting there while watching the demo machines. So it's a lot of fun, but it no longer works. They did that in a reality where people use their computers as the most private, most intimate thing on the planet. Your computer knows things about you that your significant other doesn't know. Scary? Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like so does Google, and I think Google knows me better than I fear to even know myself at this point.
That's the other thing. Like go out if you've not watched it. The new season of House of Cards is totally on Netflix right now, and they totally hit all over that about how Google and other search engines they started off as just kind of helping the Fed, and then the Fed took over, and now they have no control over what's going on. They're just kind of spectators collecting money. The Google can create an algorithm and predict where you're going to be for the rest of the week. They can predict what you're going to do. They can predict what you're going to buy. They can predict who you're going to see and how you're going to see them. They can see all of this, and it's terrifying.
Believe it.
I mean, I know we live in a world right now where people are like, I take a selfie for every food that I eat. I tweet about everywhere I go, so privacy's not a big deal. But when that privacy, when you're willingly giving that information out, is a whole lot different than when you have somebody like actively monitoring or collecting data on you just to create an algorithm.
You mean they're going to know what I'm going to buy at the grocery store?
They probably do. They probably know. I mean, I know they're going to be like, white disco belt, microphones.
I get coupon offers for all the things that I buy, and I go, wow, that's really cool. And I don't realize that actually that's intentional.
It is intentional. It is intentional.
For the products that I buy. Mm-hmm.
It is 100% intentional, and that's what big data is. Like most consumers don't listen to the term big data. They're like, oh well, big data. What does it mean? It's literally you in ones and zeros. And the time is going to come one day we're going to be able to regenerate a personality for a person based on what Google knows and what Amazon knows and what the internet knows about them. And it's probably going to be sitting on Mac hardware.
Yeah. I don't know about that, but we just had a guest on the show from Decawave, and they are developing a new semiconductor, whatever, a new chip that uses a different form of communication than Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, and their whole thing is position, so they can collect data on that chip up to about 3 inches or maybe even 2 inches as relative to other objects. And we were talking with the head engineer from them, and they were saying that they're going to use these in the future. They could totally see a use case where they're going to either put it in grocery shopping carts or put it in your clothing or somehow get it on your person, and then it'll know that you're standing there looking at the blue T-shirts and not the red T-shirts, and it's going to send a message to your phone in real time for a coupon that goes just for the red T-shirts that you were just looking at.
It's called ultra wideband UWB,
and this whole big data thing, like, it's going to get more sophisticated and it's going to get more real time, and it's going to catch people by surprise, I feel like.
See, they've been doing this for a while. They've been using proximity marketing and things like that for a long time. But it's, oh, you got close to me, now I'm going to send you information to your phone about what you're looking at. Yeah, nothing can go wrong with that at all. At all. I see that,
I feel like as a hacker, you're being sarcastic.
I'm being ridiculously sarcastic. If there was a sarcasm emoji, it would be on my screen right now. Okay, but the funny thing is, and you know what? I totally see now why Ben Craig wanted you back as the co-host, because that guest would never come back on this show if I were co-hosting, ever. They would never come back on the show. I forget who it was.
We just had not Quickset, but Unikey that was on that. They make the
they make the back end for all the Quickset and all the other
make the locks,
hospitals, stuff like that.
Yeah. If they were a sponsor, they'd hate you. So they waited the appropriate amount of time, and I'm sure that was on their list of questions. Is that a hacker guy still working on the show?
Well, Ben actually met him out at the Consumer Electronics Show, and they
were showing off all their devices. There was no one actively hacking them at the show, but
here's the thing. Yeah. I'm going to a conference in D.C. here later in the month, and I'll have to send you guys pictures, and I'll send you updates on it when I go. But the whole point behind it is this whole mesh of technologies, this wonderful connectivity that we find ourselves that makes our life so much more convenient. For every device that is created, for every technology there is created, there are 500,000 black hats out there, or not even black hats. There are 500,000 50 Shades of Gray hats that are out there trying to figure out different ways to get this technology to do something different. And that particular technology scares the life out of me. We might as well.
You're talking about the Internet of Things, because that's where everything is headed for.
Well, it's all is the Internet of Things. But here's the other funny thing about it, right? Like that particular proximity marketing technology, it's using wideband, probably radio signals to be able to detect when your device is close enough. Now, it's going to be able to send something. Now, I'm assuming it's either you have to have an app installed, or if it's sending you data directly to your device without you actually having an app or anything, it means they're manipulating the radio frequency on your device. And if they're manipulating the radio frequency on your device, imagine the other things they can pull off of it versus pushing to it.
Well, it's a chip, basically. It has a little antenna. It's a little tiny,
it's a chip, but they also do the software end of it too. So
there are companies Yeah, the company in Ireland, they're a fabless IC company that makes these things and then sell them to companies who make the software to do, finding you where you are within 2 inches. I mean, it's literally within 2 inches. I mean, it's far more accurate than Bluetooth or Wi-Fi because they can give you a general proximity, but the ultra wideband can tell you right down within 2 inches. Where the so if you're wearing those little ID badges. Or it was like the old Star Trek. We had a user said, "Why didn't we mention Star Trek?" And Arnie, he said, "Hey, why don't you mention Star Trek?" Where they say, "Fine, where are they?" And they can tell you exactly where you
They
are.
got little comm badges that they tap on their chest.
Now that's something useful. That's something useful. I can watch here. I can make Craig's phone make a sound really quick. Let's see. All I'm saying is, right now the level of privacy is almost zero, and adding technology like that, I know most people don't care. Most people aren't going to care, but we might as well just put chips in our under our skin and just become like you remember what was it? I Am Robot. Where instead of Will Smith pulling out his credit card, he just waves his hand.
iRobot.
Yeah. We might as well just get to that point because we're getting there. We're inching closer and closer and closer to that, and it is becoming something interesting. And it's not all doom and gloom. This technology is wonderful. It is fantastic. It is an amazing set of technology. But if we're going to approach it, we need to approach it from a perspective of this could be the next atom bomb. And, we need to be able to be responsible about our technology, and we need to make sure that people are thinking about it from a perspective of how can this go bad?
So who do we need to elect or to have watching over us to protect our rights?
Oh, you don't need anybody watching. John McAfee?
Yeah, he's running for president. He's what do you call them? Why do I keep forgetting that? But yeah, he's running for president.
Libertarian, is that what he is?
Libertarian, there we go.
Libertarian, yes. John McAfee, the fugitive drug addict, former head of McAfee Software.
Mm-hmm. Likes wearing wife beater T-shirts. Yes, exactly.
Likes wearing wife beater T-shirts and having a harem of women.
Yes.
That's John McAfee. Yes. Honestly, I mean, he got what he needed, what he wanted. He got the headline. He got the story. He got the camera. He got the spotlight.
He said I made it all up. I just did it so I can get a boatload of publicity, and that's
boatload of free publicity.
Well, and you didn't use the word boatload, but it meant the same thing.
But he used a more colorful metaphor, I'm sure.
Exactly.
But it comes down to this though. It's nobody took him seriously. Nobody in this cybersecurity world took him seriously. Nobody actually paid attention to him. I mean, in the whole CNN interview that he did, he was holding up an Android phone, talking about how he could unlock an iPhone, and I picked up on it. I was like, "Oh, really?" And I posted that on Facebook and said, "Hey, did anybody else notice that he's holding an Android phone?"
You don't think he did that purposely? He was just doing that as a tease. I have this iPhone here, or didn't call attention to it. I mean, that's right up there with what was Martin Sheen holding up a phone to his ear. It was an iPhone, but it was upside down.
I think honestly, it's really, he did it for the press. He got what he wanted. Nobody really takes him seriously as a candidate for anything. For cybersecurity, he came up with an idea for a great piece of software, and he hasn't touched it since. And now he's just the eccentric billionaire that is going to continue to be a billionaire. I mean, that's the way of the world. From a security aspect, he did call, and I do applaud him for this. He did bring up a good point, that he made the Fed look stupid, even though he came out and found out that he was lying. But he did make the Fed look stupid, and people asked the question of, can you really get into a phone by doing this? And then he went on national television and kind of, sort of, maybe not really made some sense about how to do it, and it was just enough technical jargon layered in there where the average consumers be like, that sounds legit.
I definitely heard a breakdown, or I saw the transcript and I saw a breakdown of it, and he was referring to a couple different things by the wrong terms, and then some of the terminology he was using, let's not forget, he designed McAfee software back in like 89 or 92 or something like that, and it was purchased by Intel, and then like he stepped out in like 93. So like he was using terminology from like back in 93 that no longer really applies to today.
But most consumers don't know that. Most consumers don't know that. I mean, it's you went and saw the transcript, and you know, I know Craig was probably like, they still use those, but everybody else was like, that seems legit. Sure, that seems like it could be a viable option. And I mean, John McAfee did what he wanted to do. It's you know, we're going to have somebody else that's going to come on and they're going to start talking about things like that. And that's the world we kind of live in. I don't have to actually explain the technology to you in most cases. I just have to make it seem like I know what I'm talking about.
That's very upsetting. and press give them and people like him attention. You know?
I you know, on this show here, I give him attention because it's so entertaining. Oh my God, there is drama, and then there is McAfee's life, and oh my God, I am enraptured.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine how entertaining it would be if Donald Trump tapped him as a running mate?
Oh my God. Charles. By the way, are you still doing the other show on weekends? You mentioned like you're doing like a once a week podcast.
Oh, yes, I'm still working on that one. We did have a couple of things that we were working on it. Finding people became a problem, so I'm getting ready to relaunch it once we get settled down to do a kind of a solo thing going on. But yes, WTF America is still running.
Yeah, I bet you guys are gonna have a lot of fun with everything that's been going on lately.
Oh, trust me. I mean, we've got a massive things, and what's the new way of doing it? The way that I'm going to be approaching it now is take all of your major headlines and see if you can identify what the real purpose of this headline is. Is it to actually convey a real message? Is it actually to bring out real news, or is it to get more click-throughs? And if it's to get more click-throughs, what is it they're not telling you about the story? Here recently this week we had a video go viral about a black man in Cincinnati, I think it was, who apparently, like, the video cuts on, he's walking down the street with his cup of coffee, and beautiful thing, label is out. Like, he's showing his cup of coffee, label out, and it goes viral. So I'm like, oh, cool, product placed in a viral video, right? But he's showing that there's this police officer that's following him. And the video goes on, he jaywalks, the police officer apprehends him and starts questioning him, and he immediately starts calling, you know, police brutality and all these other wonderful things. And of course, many reporters jumped on this story and went completely ballistic with it. Like, you know, racist, overbearing police, and police state, and da-da-da-da-da, blah, 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 blah. Completely glancing over the fact that this particular individual was well known to be a violent felon who illegally carried a firearm and assaults people. So it was like, yeah, headline.
Gotcha. Yeah, and you know, understanding. I guess this is something that, you know, when people go to the internet more and more to get their news, this is something that people are going to have to realize that that clickbaity title that you see may not really, you know. The article, or at least the information that they're pulling from, may not actually be the point of the headline that you're reading.
I actually I forget what website it was. I gave them complete props here recently. There was an article, I think it was Anonymous News, Anon HQ or something like that. Their headline was something outrageous, like hackers confirm Donald Trump's conversation with racists. And you click the article, and it was like a sad kitty article. And you were like, wait, what?
So clickbait.
Exactly. I was like, good job, guys. I give that one to you. You know, that is how you do it. Like I'm gonna start to and I don't know if you guys actually you haven't been around for the the recent Facebook experiment that I've been doing.
No.
It's not necessarily a Facebook experiment, but the social aspect of Facebook is people will literally believe almost anything you put on Facebook. Anything. Like if it's a meme that looks like it's being quoted from a credible source, they'll take it instantly. If it's a headline that looks like it's coming from a regular website, I posted. Ben, have you read Ayn Rand's Atlas Shrugged yet?
No, I hear so much stuff about it. I just can't bring myself to.
Craig, I'm pretty sure you have.
A long time ago, but yeah. I don't remember. It was really thick.
Yeah, it was. It's a pretty daunting book.
Yeah,
but it's in it.
I did see the movie though with Gary Cooper.
The movies aren't bad. They're okay. They're all right. But there's the Directive 10-286 or something like that, where it basically declares martial law. It says that you as an individual won't make more or any less than you did in the previous 12 months. That you as an individual won't be able to buy or sell any more or less than you did in the previous 12 months. Authors aren't going to be able to produce more, and they must not produce less. Like, it basically locks in all aspects of humanity. I took that 10-286, right? That declaration, and went and spoofed the Fox News, Fox News article page. Okay?
Oh yeah, of course.
And changed the logo to be Fox, F-A-U-X News, and put it up on FAUX, news dot something else, and put it all up there, and put President Obama's picture there, where he was standing behind the podium speaking, or he was signing something, and just was like, in other news, President Obama signs into law a directive that demands this, this, and this. And it was so amazing. I had half the people being like, "Oh my God, this is outrageous! I can't believe they're going to do this!" And then I had the other people saying, "Well, I could kind of support that." And I had like two that were like, "Hey, this looks really familiar. I think I read about this in a book somewhere. Let me go check." Oh, look, Atlas Shrugged. Good job. I'm like, wow.
FAUX, actually the French for faux, which means false, but yes.
Yeah, and it's kind of like that phenomenon that like people love an authoritative voice that tells you something, and they'll believe it. If it's on TV, if it's on the internet, like Charles was just saying. I mean, to kind of bring this back around to John McAfee in this FBI, San Bernardino shooting hacking case, he's like, yeah, I'm going to hack into this into the iPhone using social engineering, and like he threw that term out there. I was like, what? Like social engineering. I'll get the password. I'll invite all of his friends over and his friends and family over for dinner, and we'll get the password that way. So,
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep. And I love it. I mean, it's this is the world we live in. It's gotten so difficult, really, to actually to see what's a funny joke and what's real. Like honestly, when he went on national television, and this is the cool thing, everybody thought he was serious. Everybody, even I, at one point thought he was serious, and I was like, man, he's actually going to have some insight here. This could be entertaining. And then once he opened his mouth, I was like, hopes have been dashed.
Oh, God.
Yeah, a lot of people are proven unreliable as soon as they start talking. That's
how it works, man.
Ben has been so fascinated with this McAfee story, though.
Oh my God! Look, anyone who says, "Folks, I'm running for president," and he is scruffy looking with bleached hair and an unbuttoned shirt with a wife beater with cats printed all over it, like the young folk would wear, and he's like, "I'm running for president." And it's like, oh my God.
What about the guy who's promising unicorns and something else to all the people?
Yeah. Yeah. He
wears a boot on his head. He's run for president every year for the last several times. Oh man, what is his name?
He's in Ohio though, like every year.
Yeah, I forget what his name is, but he's giving free cupcakes and free unicorns to people, and he actually has like some actual like hardcore supporters. He wears a boot on his head. You have to Google him. He's out there.
He's a gentleman that, of course, this is a little bit about politics, but he's the one who says the political race has gotten so absurdist. Vote for me, the most absurdist, and he's out there making a stance. So.
I'm looking him up now.
Yeah.
I gotta find this guy now. Let's just vote for the most absurd. Let's see.
Yeah.
I'm gonna find this guy. I'm gonna find this guy.
Well, I'll tell you what. We're almost out of time, Charles. I know you said you could only do the first hour with us, or you thought that. Can you stay with us a little more, or you have to go?
I could probably stay a few more minutes, but I definitely cannot stay a whole nother hour.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll take you for the first few minutes in the second hour as well. Okay. And then so did you find the guy's name? I'll
find it after the break because I know that's what we're coming up on.
Okay. What other hacking stories? We talked about the FBI and Apple, and we talked about the ransomware for Apple, and that's basically don't worry about it, is what you're saying, and nothing to be concerned of.
Well, it seems like you have to make a lot of bad decisions before that actually happens.
Found him.
Yeah. Who?
Venom Supreme.
That's him.
Oh, sorry, Vermin Supreme.
Yeah, Vermin Supreme.
Sounds like an ice cream flavor or something.
I think in the next hour, if you've been keeping up with it, I remember like we did a story about a week ago about Bitcoin making headlines again about the people who are in charge of the code behind the Bitcoin were no longer releasing blocks for the blockchain, and were actually capping the amount of Bitcoins and essentially ruining it.
Not yet. They're not ruining it. They're doing the same thing that the Fed was supposed to have done with the U.S. dollar. There's only supposed to be a certain amount of this currency available to the planet, and if we're reaching the end of how much that is available, now it's going to turn into the experiment of the U.S. economy on a global scale. The people who can hoard Bitcoin will continue to hoard Bitcoin, and the people who cannot won't. The time for Bitcoin is trading down right now, but it is going to come right back up. Give it time.
You still delve in Bitcoin? I know you used to have a few coins yourself.
Oh, I do. I still do. In fact, I transferred a good number of them from one wallet to another this morning for this exact problem. I got a higher trade rate on another site than I did on one of the other ones. So it's let's see what happens.
Charles is always cutting edge, and he was one of the first that got the Google Glass, and everything, and do you still have those, by the way?
I do. They are on my desk in my office. They are still. It was the most expensive impulse buy I have ever made. But they were awesome for a time. But then when they started becoming buggy and glitchy, they got to be problematic.
And I remember for a while you were getting all kinds of attention, especially with the airports, and people would look at you and say, "Are you recording me?"
Oh, yes. Yes. Now you couple the Google Glass with my hacker T-shirt. It was awesome.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. We're at the top of the hour, so we're going to take a short break, and then we'll continue on with certified ethical hacker Charles Tendell. Again, if you want to speak to them, 347-884-8881. We'll get you on and get you through, or any page at computeramerica.com. We have another news tips bulletin review from Marty Winston in the second hour, talking about the Pallet Cube. We'll be doing that as well. In the meantime, we're going to take a short break, and then we'll be right back. This is the Computer America Show on the IRN Radio Network, on the TuneIn Radio Network, the Blog Talk Radio Network. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting live, it's the only national radio talk show on computers to air every weeknight. Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. The first hour's behind us, but there's still more of tech news, tech talk, and your phone calls. We're being beamed nationwide at computeramerica.com. You got computer problems? Bring them on. You're listening to Computer America. Computers run the world, and we run computers. Call us or send us an email to live@computeramerica.com.
Hello and welcome into Hour 2 of the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. This is the Computer America Show, and I'm your host,
Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
And I'm your co-host.
You can be the co-host. We got a new title for you if you like that. Exactly. Charles used to be the co-host of the show for quite some time, and
for about a year, yeah.
About a year, yeah. It was a lot of fun, and a lot of craziness went on there. And
Ben, don't worry, I'm not taking your job.
That was Ben's work.
Thank goodness. I don't even know.
Oh, Ben, when I came back as a guest, Ben was like, "Oh no." This again.
I know. I had to print out, and then, because you can't do this virtually, but I had to print out and burn all of the listeners' emails that we get. It's like, when's Charles coming back? I had to destroy those before you came back.
And we got a lot of them, too. Exactly.
I know.
Yeah, I'm loved. That's what happened.
You are, and sorely missed.
But here's what happens.
Always welcome here on the show. I'm sorry, go ahead.
From now on though, when I come on the show, you totally have to do that second part, the intro for the second hour that says "Computers run the world," and it's got to be changed. Computers run the world, and he runs computers. And me. Like ha ha.
I've been meaning to get new voiceover work. We've had the old one for quite a while now, but yeah, I kind of want new voiceovers.
Well, we can do that too. Anything is possible in this world, in this day and age. Anything is possible. Well, you're only going to stay with us, you say, for the first 10, 15 minutes, and
about the first 10 minutes I can do.
First 10 minutes, okay, and we want to take advantage of that. So, we've covered most of a couple of obviously really headline news stories. And again, you can always go visit Charles at his website at charlestendell.com or Azorian. Azorian.io. You can go there and see all the things that Charles is doing, and we always have links to that as well at computeramerica.com. And Charles, and I love that new title, Offensive Security Engineer.
No, that's what everybody's calling hackers these days. They're trying to come up with new buzzwords, and they're trying to come up with new ways to say what it is that we do. Mm-hmm. Because they're all trying to avoid using the term professional hacker, and it's just like, if you just stop trying to skin this cat different ways and just called a spade, I think we'd be done here, people, and we could get on to the business of actually securing the world. So,
yeah, and that's the mission, right? I mean, that's your mission.
That is the mission. That has always been the mission. That has always been my passion. That has always been every true hacker on the planet. And I don't mean the script kiddies. I don't mean the I social engineered my way onto your Twitter feed. I don't mean the other people out there. All of the true hackers in the world are out there to change the world for better. There's not a true hacker on the planet who's out there just to watch the world burn. There isn't. There are the select few people who do want to use their skills just to set fires to the world, but the majority and most true hackers are out there to affect positive change in one way or another. Yes, they might do something that's illegal, but the means, the means don't justify the end, or the end doesn't justify the means, however you say it. But they're doing it for a point, and they're doing it because they've come to a conclusion that doing it any other way won't get their point across.
Do you think we're ever going to get to that point, though, Charles? I mean, the mission is to, as you say, but do you think we're ever going to actually get there?
We're getting there slowly but surely. I mean, look at it. Was it last week? The Pentagon came out and said, "Look, we're going to announce this hacker bounty program, Hack the Pentagon." You bet your butt, I was all over that. I'm like, "Yep, I'm on the side." Like, I'm waiting. I'm waiting for my invite.
Wait, you had to get an invite to hack the Pentagon? I thought it was just, hey, if you just hack us and show proof, then you get it.
Nope, not how it works. In order to be entered into the program and to be able to actually be given the ability or access to some of the systems that they have, you have to be vetted. Like, you can't just you can't be Joe Hacker off the street who's going to come in here. Like let's say, let's let every hacker on the planet into hacking, not even a mission critical, but a kind of critical or a kind of interesting system that might give somebody else insight into the Pentagon. Let's give every hacker to do it. Oh, look, this ISIS hacker here just got into the program. That's going to be bad.
Well, I guess they're looking for something a little bit more in-depth than, oh, look, this quote-unquote hacker took down our website for the 18th millionth time this week.
Exactly. What they're looking for is for ways to get into things that'll be, at first you won't be allowed to access critical infrastructure. You'll only be allowed to access, third-party or small systems out there that don't have a direct impact on national security. But if you think about it the way that the system is implemented, anybody who makes it into those particular systems are tested. That's the point. They are tested as a, what in the world is that, Ben?
It is my co-host replacement. Yes.
It looks like a mop.
Yeah, pretty much.
But all those people are being tested for their skill level to be able to get in there, and it's a fluffy dog. And once you get to a certain skill level, they will most definitely approach you for other opportunities within the agency. It's just the way it works.
That makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. Well, again, Charles, we're so happy to have you here with the program and on the show. And again, I want to thank you for taking the time to be here with us. And Again, if you want to, you can visit Charles at his website, charlestendell.com. Do you have a link to Azorian.io at charlestendell.com? Do you have a link there as well?
There might be a link there. It does say it in my bio page where I work. So if you can't find me on my website, just Google me. You're going to get Hackers List or the New York Times. You're going to get you'll get to Azorian. I am there. So I'm all over the internet. I'm in your computer right now, Craig.
Right. If you go to Google and type in Charles Tendell.
You know, if you go to Google and you type Google into Google, you can break the internet.
Really?
I did hear that.
I never tried that. I never thought of that. You get that.
Hold on, wait. I have to try it again. I said it and laughed. I have to say it with a straight face.
Was that from the IT crowd?
It was Ben.
Yeah.
Ben, you may keep your seat as the co-host.
Yeah.
And I will even vote for you and second the motion when you become the host of the show. I will support that move.
That's not too far off. Exactly.
Woo!
That's scary.
Craig's gonna retire and Ben's gonna take over, and it's gonna be
It's gonna be chaos.
And then you'll be looking for another co-host.
He will be, but he said he's got a co-host right there, the fluffy one.
It's going to the dogs, folks. That's what we're
going to
doing. Very roundabout way.
Hey, well, Charles, listen, thank you so much for being with us here. And again, you have to come by us when you get back up to North Carolina. And
Definitely.
yeah, exactly. And thank you again for so much for being with us here on Computer America. And we'll obviously stay in touch. We'll have you back as many times as you like to come back here. We'll certainly have you here on the show. Okay?
Thanks for having me.
All right. Thanks, my friend. Take care.
Bye.
Have a good one.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. All right, there you go. Charles Tendell, certified ethical hacker, with us here at Computer America. And again, you can check him out at his website at azorian.io. All right, so we've got a ton of news stories.
By the way, I don't have the feature of wipe the phone after 10 failed attempts to put in the PIN code, but I did try, and after the 11th, I got locked out for 1 minute. And after the 12th failed password, I got locked out for 5 minutes. I'm sure the next one would lock me out for an hour. So
don't brick your phone, please. Whatever you.
Yeah, just seeing what happens.
Yeah, exactly.
Experimenting. It's good for growing minds.
Exactly. All right. So there is a feature you can turn on that after attempt it does brick it, but you have to. It defaults to off.
Right. Yeah. And we didn't get too much further into how to protect yourself from the FBI, but. Suffice to say that if you want to keep whatever is on your phone private from the FBI, all you have to do is do not sync your phone to the iCloud and do not use a fingerprint scanner. Use a PIN code. Because the information for the fingerprint actually goes to the iCloud and it lets you, it syncs it based on your on your thumbprint. So if you use a fingerprint scanner, they can actually send that the data of your fingerprint to the phone and unlock your phone for you. So if you want to keep whatever's on your phone private, do not use Apple ID.
I'm finding more and more apps that are using Touch ID, and I'm using it.
Well, I'm just saying, for security purposes, if you don't want it hacked, do not use that. Just use a simple PIN code and keep the PIN code secret.
Okay, well, there it is. Good tip. By the way, we have an upgrade alert. Firefox, the browser just gone to version 45. The update just came out. So now, if you don't have the automatic update turned on, you can now update to 45. When you go to the page at Mozilla, finding what the updates are, it just says bug fixes. Sometimes this is basically a bug fix update, but it's there. So
not every upgrade is we've completely redesigned the search engine and we've completely redesigned the way that the RAM works with.
Yeah, but you would think that
fan and
you would think with a major number. I mean, it should have been 44.4 or 44.5, but now they went.
Sometimes software releases just like a really polished, bug fix or bug-free version, and they say this is our latest major release because if you go to the website and you're like, oh, which one should I download, the 44 or the 43 or whatever? If they go with the 45, it's clean, it's kind of free of most of the more popular bugs. Then maybe they just want to say, all right, if you want to install Mozilla Firefox, go to version 45. It is ready to go.
Yeah, exactly. And if you don't have the automatic update turned on, you should probably do that, because I can't see a reason why you shouldn't have that done. Just let it do its thing. It's always better. It's faster. Always makes it faster, better, new features. All right. Well, that said, let's get to do some computer and technology news. Let's just go ahead for it. Today's computer and technology news is brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. You can visit them at slimwareutilities.com to clean, speed up, and optimize your Windows system at slimwareutilities.com.
All right. So this first story that we're going to do, we talked about a lot of very interesting things in the first hour with Charles Tendell, but here we have some very, very cool stories, including this first one from Max and PC, Mr. Kevin Parrish, and Seagate making waves today at Waves, whatever. Seagate reveals the fastest ever, quote unquote, solid state drive flash drive.
Now, we just did a story a couple of days ago, but it was
about the largest capacity.
Yeah. It was like capacity. Yeah, exactly. How many terabytes? It was
15.46, something like that.
Yeah, something. It was almost 15 terabytes of a solid state drive, not a solid state drive. Although they were saying it was just for enterprise. Well, here it is now. More. I mean, I know this is going to continue to escalate. Now, as you mentioned, Seagate's revealing its fastest ever solid state drive. So tell us about it.
So, hard drive maker Seagate Technology said on Tuesday, that was yesterday, now has the speediest solution to date. The upcoming Trailblazer, slated to arrive this summer, offers speeds of up to 10 gigabytes per second, which the company says is 4 times faster than the previous solid-state drive that claimed the world fastest. So, of course, this drive also meets the Open Compute Project, the OCP specification, perfect for hyperscale data centers. Because, again, as we were talking about with the large capacity solid-state drives, storing the data is one thing. Actually utilizing and analyzing, and processing the data, that is the biggest problem we're facing, because you can collect terabytes upon petabytes of information, but if you can't access, put it in a easy to understand and digest system, then there's really no point in collecting that much data. Then you're just storing for no reason. But here, 10 gigabits per second. It's pretty crazy.
It's actually 10 gigabytes per second, which makes it that much faster. Yeah, exactly.
Right. So according to Seagate, the drive ditches the SATA connector for the non-volatile memory express protocol, which Seagate helped develop. The protocol speeds up data transfers by reducing layers of commands and helps eliminate information bottlenecks. Seagate also said the drive accommodates 16-lane PCIe slots. Wow. So lots of concurrent data as well. Yeah. And they have a quote here saying the technology advancement continues to stretch the limit for SSD speed and performance due to growing enterprise demand that require fast processing at scale. This is, of course, driven by the Internet of Things that we've been talking about so much. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Of course, if the Seagate's new drive lives up to the promise, it would seem an ideal candidate for data center solutions where results are affected by speed. Scenarios include statistical trends analysis, weather modeling, and large-scale cloud providers. Seagate suggests using the new data in an all-flash array or as an accelerated flash tier with hard drives, which would mean that these would be pulling. That these drives would even be pulling information from slower, multiple slower, larger traditional hard drives, and then they would be processed and sent out using these faster, solid-state drives.
Yeah.
And of course, let's see. Meanwhile, in addition to the new 16-lane production-ready unit, Seagate is also finalizing a second unit for 8-lane PCIe slots. The drive will have a throughput of about 6.7 gigabytes per second, making it the fastest SSD in the 8-lane card market, obviously. So 16, 10, 8, 6.7. So not bad still, not bad.
No, not bad at all.
Right. So the model is the ideal for organizations that want the highest performance but are limited by cost and power usage requirements. Obviously, people who just need these large servers but don't want to pay the top end, it's good that they have a more moderately priced one.
Yeah.
Of course, Seagate is slotted to showcase both solid-state drives during the Open Compute Project Summit in 2016 convention in San Jose, California, beginning today. The company has already allowed limited sales of both units to several of its customers, though it plans a full general release this summer. I would really be interested in getting one of these.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Can you imagine how fast your computer would boot up and run?
Boot up and run would be, seconds, like so much faster, but also just, pulling up data, like the responsiveness of anything from your hard drive. No longer would you have to wait there and listen to the computer go, back in the day when you only had a traditional hard drive. With this kind of speed, you can see why they're targeting the large supercomputers and the large data processing companies.
I have to say
this is crazy fast.
Yeah, and I have to say that for those of you looking to extend the life of your computer or usefulness of your computer, two things you can do is you update the memory or get more memory. And if you can update the hard drive to a solid-state drive, that's even though with the same existing hardware, it's going to feel like your computer is like a whole new computer. I mean, because it's going to be just that much more responsive. So if you have to put you don't want to throw out the whole computer, you still, it's fairly recent. You put one of these in there, boy, it's going to feel like you have a whole new system. Really, that one bottleneck is just going to go away, and you can feel like you have a whole new computer.
Right, and of course, you could also go download more RAM.
Well, that's true, exactly. All right, so again,
Greg, you're supposed to catch me on that. You can't download RAM.
No, you can't. You can't. But Seagate now.
But there is a website called downloadmoreram.com.
Yeah, but you have to buy it.
But of course you have to buy it. It's RAM. RAM doesn't come free.
Yes, but you can't download RAM. It's just you have to buy it.
RAM is a hardware thing.
Hardware thing, exactly. So there you go. The fastest ever title is back with Seagate with this solid-state flash drive.
It's crazy that like the increase in performance. Like obviously they had to go back and completely redesign the controller for this thing, but the fastest ever, 4 times faster, not 1 gig, not 1 gigabyte faster, not incrementally faster, 4 times.
Yeah.
And this is just better software. I feel like, and of course top of the line hardware, but also better software controlling it, which led to this huge boost in performance. So I can't wait to see what they come out. I can't wait to see what they come out with the models in August.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Hey, you and I did a story about artificial intelligence program that defeated the
Go champion.
Go champion. Yeah, exactly. Well, evidently, that was still he wasn't the world champion.
Well, no, he was like they played once, and it was just so it could learn that kind of thing, and I think it was like 2-1, and the Go champion won, but then it was like now they're having a best of 5.
All right. Well,
and yeah.
Well, here's the thing: the game of Go, you think chess is complicated? The game of Go has more potential moves than there are atoms in the universe. I mean, that's how many. The number is just astronomical. So, chess doesn't pales by the amount of complexity of the game of Go. And evidently, there's the world champion, and according to the story, Google's AlphaGo artificial intelligence defeats the world champion at the game of Go, the first in a 5-match tournament. The boundaries basically for what machines cannot do has been pushed a little farther as Google's DeepMind AlphaGo has beaten Go world champion Lee Sedol in the first of 5 matches. After a 3.5-hour game, Sedol conceded to the computer. Wow, that's got to be way up there. I mean, that's right there. One of the milestones is when the first chess champion was defeated by the Big Blue computer. This is another seminal point. And the article goes on to say this is only the first match, but Sedol expects a 5-0 sweep on his part. Okay. During a press conference after the match, Sedol hung his head. He says, "I didn't know AlphaGo would play such a perfect game," he said. Now, the CEO and founder of DeepMind, Demis Hassabis, compared this win to landing on the moon in a tweet after the match was called. I mean, it's right up there. It is a milestone in the area, in the field of artificial intelligence. So basically, Go was thought to be unplayable by a machine at a champion level because the game is so complex. I mean, that's how far it moved. I mean, the Big Blue took it beat the Russian world chess champion. That was what year? It was 2002 or 2000.
It was early 2000s.
Yeah. And because the Go is so complex that they didn't think it was possible to code an artificial intelligence construct that would do this, but evidently,
because when you think about it, you let's say you start off with 1,000 different moves, and then whichever move that you make is then it branches off into 1,000 different possibilities, and then each one of those 1,000 different possibilities, the opponent places one piece, and then that's another 1,000 different possibilities, and it branches off into 1,000 different ones, and it goes like that on and on and on for 80 to 100 moves. You got yourself billions of different combinations of possible moves, and that's not something that is very easy to brute force.
And actually, it's beyond billions. It's as I said, there are more possible moves in the game of Go than there are atoms in the universe. So it is truly staggering. And that's why they felt that they couldn't code this kind of a construct. But evidently, they did. The idea that they couldn't do it was shattered in October of 2015 when AlphaGo beat European champion Fan Hui. But skeptics still believe that Tendell would best the machine. Okay.
Oh, and by the way, the viewership numbers. Someone mentioned that the people watching this, because Go. It's popular over there in the East. It's not so much in the West. And people really don't even know of Go, let alone how Go is played, let alone how Go is played well versus how it's played by an amateur. But this was live streamed on the internet, and it had about 330,000 people from, I want to say, Singapore alone watching this one stream. And then this game was also televised live so that anyone over there could actually watch the game as well. I'm sure back in the day when Deep Blue and the chess player were playing, I'm sure that was televised live.
Yes, it was, but the technology was so less it was, but it didn't, not as many people had access to it back then just because the limited.
Well, I'm just saying that nowadays, probably thousands, if not millions of people watch this happen, and they were all shocked.
I'm surprised that it wasn't on like Twitch TV or something too.
Oh, it was.
It was. Okay. All right. Now here's a little behind the scenes. Google, since that event with Hui, they've been tweaking AlphaGo, so it learned from mistakes it made in the 2015 match that it had with Hui. Okay, and evidently it seems to have paid off, as even Tendell, who studied the few previous AlphaGo games, was surprised about how well the machine performed. Now, it was 1997. Gary Kasparov. There it is. There we go. Yeah, exactly. So from 97 to 2016. So that's how many years. And the game of chess is like child's play compared to the game of Go. Although, as Ben says, not as popular as chess is, but it's certainly
not as popular as chess is in the West.
Yeah,
in the West we have chess.
Yeah,
they have Go.
But much like Gary Kasparov in 1997, Tendell also has not had very much access to games that AlphaGo has played, besides the 5 against Hui. Normally, both players would be able to analyze the other's playing style and prepare themselves, you say, okay. On the other hand, it might not have mattered, since the computer doesn't have a set personality or preferential style. Basically, it just looks to win, okay? Now, the second match will take place. I want to see if I can watch this thing, if it's available. If it's on Twitch, I want to catch it. The second match...
Unfortunately, the whole match lasted about 3.5 hours, so...
Yeah, well, I'm going to see if I can catch it. The second match will take place Thursday, March the 10th at 1 p.m. As a Korean Standard Time, or Wednesday, March the 9th, 11 p.m. Eastern Time for us in the West. And it is available to stream on DeepMind's YouTube channel. So I can go to the YouTube channel and check it out. I'm probably going to watch this because that is amazing. that they have they're getting it to beating. So far, it's defeated the first game out of 5. It's beaten the world Go champion. Absolutely incredible. Yeah.
Yep. And but again, match 1 of 5.
Yeah.
So there's still a chance that Lee Sedol, because I heard someone break down the match, and they said that that the Google DeepMind, they definitely made some very big mistakes, and also Lee Sedol made a lot of big mistakes because he was being overly aggressive, or he thought that he could trick the machine into doing some very basic tricks. So I think coming into this, he's going to be even more focused on being better than the machine, because I think the first one, everyone came into it thinking that there's no way a computer can do this. And I'm sure that affected him by saying, there's no way that I'm going to lose to a computer. I can show the flaws in something like this very, very easily. So I wouldn't be surprised if he comes back and wins a couple more before this whole thing is over.
Well, with the, I don't remember the Gary Kasparov rematch, because the first one he beat Deep Blue, and then the rematch, it beat him, and he found that you dedicate your entire life to one particular game, intellectual game, and then you finally discover that your life's endeavor, no matter how good you are, you're going to be beat by a machine. That's going to be unnerving. It really unnerved him. I know it didn't go well with him, So
I don't know. For a while there, I wanted to be, I wanted to be the strongest I could ever be. But then, you sit behind a forklift and you see this thing lift up 5 tons, and you're like, yeah, there goes that. I mean, the machines are going to be better at a lot of things, and it's especially difficult when machines are better in intellectual pursuits. But at the end of the day, we have to realize that these machines, they're very good at very specific tasks.
Right.
They're, let's face it, DeepMind might be able to defeat you in Go, but Mr. Lee Sedol, the machine's not going to be better than you in the field of love, in the field of making music. It's not going to be better than you at a lot of things. But in this one thing, yeah, it was kind of programmed by hundreds of people to do just that.
Right, and this is the one thing that he's known for. He's not known for the field of love, and he's known for being the world Go champion. And now I'm saying machines,
they're better, but they're better in a very narrow focus. So and besides, there's always something very rewarding about seeing someone who has a high level of mastery. As a person, a machine is I think we're all desensitized to it, but to see a person play on such a high level, I think that's still very impactful.
All right, you're listening to the Computer America Show. We've got more computer and technology news coming up, brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. Another news tips review as well. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Hi, this is Craig Crossman, host of the Computer America Show. You have important meetings to schedule. Your company's getting ready for its IPO, and you're in charge of the PTA fundraiser this month. So how do you coordinate everyone to be available at the same time? Are you still using emails, phone calls, even text messages to schedule meetings with a group of people? How's that working out for you? Not so great, huh? It's a fact that every day, millions of people suffer from scheduling headaches. Well, with Doodle, scheduling meetings with a group of people is quick and easy. With Doodle, you can easily propose available times to each member. Each one checks off the times that they are available, and then you simply pick the time that works best for the group, all in an easy-to-read display that integrates with your existing calendar. Nothing could be more simple. Give Doodle a try for free, and like millions of Doodle users, you'll truly see how easy it is to find the perfect date and time for all your meetings. That's www.doodle.com. Looking for a best friend? Brother Wolf Animal Rescue has your best friend waiting just for you. The mission of Brother Wolf Animal Rescue is to help build a sustainable, no-kill community where no dogs or cats are ever killed for population control, where true euthanasia is reserved only for animals who are irremediably suffering, or for animals who are truly a threat to society and with no hope of rehabilitation. Brother Wolf staff and volunteers go door to door, neighborhood by neighborhood, to educate citizens about local resources available for at-risk pets and to help their families connect with those resources. Brother Wolf's community-based approach to no No Kill helps keep family pets healthy, happy, and in their homes and out of the local shelter system in the first place. For more information or to make a tax-deductible donation to this wonderful 501c3 organization, visit their website at www.bwar.org. Help to realize Brother Wolf's vision when no animal is euthanized for lack of a home.
Who's a good boy?
Easily confused? Just tell him his fly is up. Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America. This time, the Palette Cube Portable Color Digitizer. How good is your eye when it comes to color matching? There's a USB gizmo and some apps for that. The Palette Cube Portable Color Digitizer. Charge it up, use its cap to calibrate it, then take it anywhere to snag and store up to 20 color samples in its memory. The apps, iOS and Android over Bluetooth Low Energy, Mac or PC over USB. The PC app we tested is, for now, less capable than the manual suggests. Well, the app shows you the color plus its RGB and hex values, and there's a Photoshop link that can offer other encodings. Bottom line, the cool Palette Cube is a portable, efficient way to get a color's digital fingerprint for any application where that can be useful. Marty Winston, News Tips Bulletin for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show, and 33 minutes past the hour. That was Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin review. Yeah, we are doing computer and technology news brought to you by Slimmer Utilities. And we just finished up about the Google's AlphaGo AI defeats the world Go champion. And yeah, it's of course it's game 1 of 5. Right. Even and this is not a best of 5. This is all 5 games. So we'll see if the humans can take it back from the machines. But yeah, I truly believe this is far from over. But yeah, we'll keep an eye on that because those other games should be happening here not too long. But yeah, so going forward, we have other computer technology news, and I think this next one we're going to do is going to be this one. DirecTV will have the first ever live 4K show.
Wow.
Yeah, and this will be the Masters Golf Tournament.
DirecTV again.
What a waste.
Yeah, well, no, DirecTV has been one of the few providers that actually have a 4K dedicated 4K channel. They have like 3 of them. DirecTV was one of the first to actually have a 3D channel as well. I assume they still have the 3D channel, but now they're going to actually have a 4K channel that you can do. And evidently, this live show is going to be in 4K. And you say it's the Masters. You say it's a waste of time. That's the Masters Golf. What would you have liked to have been the first 4K show?
First, I don't know, probably a something racing, probably a Formula One or something like that. Just something with cars and has like a lot of action and a lot of movement, and something that would really benefit from a really really high fidelity image. But instead, we get men in pants who swing clubs. So you get what you can take. Or even, even something with more, more movement. But here we are. DirecTV's first live 4K show is the Masters Golf Tournament, which I won't deny has quite the following, but not as much of a following because let's face it, Tiger Woods is not competing. So, and this is DirecTV has been talking about 4K broadcasts for a long time, and now it's finally ready to make them a practical reality. The satellite TV provider had revealed that its coverage of the Masters Tournament in Augusta will include the first ever live 4K broadcast on the company's new DirecTV 4K channel. And in fact, it's the first live 4K show in the U.S. So, milestone. When the 4-day golf competition kicks off April 7th, you should see every last detail on the green, important in an event that revolves around whacking a ball hundreds of yards through the air. And of course, you'll need a very specific set of equipment to make the magic happen. Beyond the Ultimate or Premier subscription necessary for tuning in, you'll also require a 4K Genie Mini set-top box and, of course, a 4K TV. So, provided your pocketbook is that deep, though, it could be worth tuning in. You'd be participating in a small but important piece of TV history as 4K transitions from pre-recorded content to a mainstay of live broadcasting. And this is something that we're seeing more and more. Sure, there's 4K content out there, but as they were saying, it's mainly recorded and then rebroadcast in 4K. To actually record it and transmit it live, that's an entirely different set of challenges. And but as the article also points out, you're going to need all the associated equipment. So you're going to need, first of all, the cable package that this is even available on, which I'm sure is one of the higher tiers. Yeah. And you're also going to need the cable box, which is, of course, one of the more expensive cable boxes that you have to rent besides.
It's actually satellite, but yeah, satellite box.
Satellite box, whatever.
Yeah, but here's the thing, because we have DirecTV we have the Genie Mini set-top boxes, but I don't think they are the 4K Genie Mini. So
those should be pretty new.
Yeah, they would be pretty new. So we put also we don't have a 4K TV in our other location, so we would have to get that too before this would make any sense. And you'd have to be really crazy into golf. So
yeah, and then that's the worst part. If you want to see this, you have to watch golf. So so that sucks.
But at least you have to start somewhere, and DirecTV is obviously finally coming out with it, because again, they were one of the first to have the 3D TV channels. Although, as we announced, there doesn't seem to be any new 3D TVs coming out for 2016. It looks like it's going to be a dead issue. Looks like the future is 4K.
Yep, it'll get there eventually, but as said, it's a small piece of television history. It's like the first time there was a digital broadcast, or the first time there was an HD broadcast, or the first time there was a satellite broadcast. It's like, at the end of the day, no one's really going to care. But hey, if you want to see what the future looks like, this is your first chance.
That's right. You'll have to pay for it to see it too, also. All right. Speaking of the future, this is from Tech Hive. Skype, which has been available on smart TVs through its smart TV app. Evidently, Skype is abandoning it. Its smart TV app is not going to be available anymore. What? Why? Well, according to Jared Newman, he says, if you have a smart TV that runs Skype, don't be surprised if the app stops working a few months from now. You see, Microsoft says it will stop supporting Skype for TV in June. At that point, TV makers may decide to remove the app from some or all of their models. Even where the app remains available, Microsoft won't deliver any more updates, which means the software could become unstable or fail to work. Now, why are they doing this? Well, you see, Skype first arrived on smart TVs in 2010, 1 year before Microsoft acquired the company for $8.5 billion. The TV integration received a fair share of hype with a big announcement at CES and with Panasonic and LG as the launch partners. But while Skype was reportedly installed on tens of millions of TV sets, using the software required a separate camera, specially designed for the TV. So the service wasn't compatible with the regular computer webcams. And beyond the additional hardware costs and setup efforts, consumers have been a bit skittish about installing cameras in their living rooms. Makes about sense. It's the privacy issue. Microsoft said most users prefer to access Skype on a smartphone instead, even with the TV right in front of them. So for now, Microsoft hasn't said anything about abandoning Skype for Xbox One, which makes use of the console's Kinect camera. And I think the Skype on the Xbox One actually makes a lot of sense because it's a gaming thing and you want to be able to see that makes it. But on a TV, not necessarily so. It says, but given Microsoft's wishy-washy commitment to Kinect in general and its newfound lack of interest in big screen video chat, it's hard to imagine the software seeing much love from here on out. So Jared Newman always summarizes, and I like this, is why it matters. He says, video chat on TV is one of those ideas that's better in theory than in practice. Compared to a phone or a tablet, chatting on the TV almost feels like having someone in the room. Unfortunately, the barriers to making it work were just too high, and Microsoft, now fending off competition from Apple, FaceTime, Google Hangouts, and Facebook Messenger video calls, wisely decided to focus on where the users are. So basically, if you have a smart TV with Skype, it's not going to work much longer.
I feel like he's right, where it would be cool if it was more integrated, instead of just here's an app and it would work, but you have to go get a special webcam, and you have to go set up a special account for this. Like, that is a pretty big barrier of entry to entry.
Yeah, exactly.
And also, I don't know many people who call, from their TVs. Like, I don't know anyone who does it.
No, not really. It's stuff, you see it in science fiction movies, and it's kind of cool, but, when in practicality, there's one thing where it really doesn't make a lot of sense.
Maybe if they either made it more integrated, although he does make good points saying that people are hesitant at best to install webcams in their living rooms, because, hey, who likes to be watched while you're watching television? No one. But if they made it more convenient, and hey, TV, call so and so, and it would just call a video, that might be interesting. But
making video phone calls is. Ask me, Ben, how many times I've used FaceTime, and I've had the iPhone since day one. How many times have I used that FaceTime?
Well,
0. I've never used it.
See, I use it almost weekly.
Never used it FaceTime. To me, you're talking. There's no need to actually look at the person that you're talking to.
Some people are weird about it. Like I've had some people say, "Come on, I want to, I want to look you in the eye, make sure you're not lying to me." I'm like, that's the whole point of the phone. Is it's easier to lie over the phone. Quit it. But yeah, no, some people really do prefer it.
All right. Well, I've just never seen the value to it. I've seen the value, use my smartphone to take a picture of something. If I'm going shopping, I would say, hey, tell me if this is the right part or something, and you send it over to me or show it to them. That way would make sense. But just sitting there and looking at each other, while you're talking, I've just never seen the value of that. But, maybe that's just me. Okay.
Probably is. So let's see. This next story. This next story, we are going to go to the magical world of Flickr. And yeah, who knew Flickr was even still a thing? Flickr, it's long been known as a photo sharing site, and it's unfortunately facing a lot of competition from things such as Instagram and Facebook, of course, and a lot of different things. Like, it kind of positions itself as the photographer's friend. Instead of being a social media network, it was where photographers go to upload their images and then share them from there. But like I said, other markets have taken a chunk out of them. So Flickr takes a big step backwards, and this according to The Verge, takes a big step backwards by making its photo upload tool a paid feature. So less than a year after it introduced the ability to automatically upload photos from your hard drive, Flickr is removing the feature from free accounts. Flickr users will now need to pay a monthly subscription fee to Flickr Pro for using the Flickr Uploader desktop tool, a move that effectively marks the death of Yahoo's service as a competitor to Google Photos. Flickr overhauled its product last May, releasing updated Flickr 4.0, and introducing a helpful camera roll tool that organized photos in reverse chronological order, but it was Uploader that made Yahoo's photo hosting service a particularly enticing prospect in a sea of competitors, because again, there are a lot of ways to share photos nowadays. After getting it wrong for so many years, last year's redesign made Flickr once again a service worth using. But by putting Uploader out of the reach of free users, Flickr is taking a step back. The service is currently offering a coupon for 30% off the annual $50 a year subscription fee, but users can instead just head over to Google Photos, where they can use a similar upload tool, again, for free. So yeah, it's a hard truth of these companies is that at the end of the day, after their venture capitalist money runs out, even after they offer all these great services for free, and they get all these users, and they really do their job of getting a following, at the end of the day, these companies have to turn a profit. They have to make money in some way. And a lot of people, they may enjoy the service to begin with, but when you force them into paying a subscription for tools that they've used before with the same service, they say, what else is out there? What else is out there that I don't have to pay money for? So even though people may like Flickr and they may like the layout, the service, the website, and all that kind of stuff, at the end of the day, I feel like people are going to go to where they have to pay the least amount of money, and people begrudgingly part with their money. They really don't like doing it. So here we are. Flickr takes away one part of its kit and puts it behind a paywall. But as the article said, if it was worth using before, and if you can live without the automatic upload feature, then hey, Flickr may still be for you. It's just they're facing a lot of competition, and they have to find a way to monetize themselves in an overly crowded market. And yeah,
but again, Google has a competing product.
And fortunately or unfortunately for Flickr, Google, you don't have to pay for like any other services. That's not how Google makes their money. They don't make it off subscription. They make it off of selling data. So, as long as you're okay with selling your soul to Google, then you can use almost all of their comparable services, be it Microsoft Word, be it things like Flickr, be it, an email service like Outlook. You can get all those for free from Google.
Yeah, exactly.
You just have to sell your soul.
Yes, you. Okay, here's an interesting story from Popular Science. Everybody's always looking for faster web experience, and evidently a tool to make web pages load 34% faster is coming out of MIT and Harvard, and it will soon be making it public. So basically, the story again, Dave Grishorn wrote this. The worst part of navigating the internet is the wait. And while you wait at the white screen on your computer, or your phone, because while you're waiting, it's actually chasing thousands of little snippets of code, which will be put together, and
which of course point to other pieces of code over and over again through ad trackers and JavaScript libraries, and that's how it is. So,
and making these load time faster though is as simple as building a map, according to new research from MIT's Computer Science and Artificial Intelligence Lab at Harvard. When websites load, the computer is shown paths to all kinds of files to download, different fonts, the JavaScript to make things jump around the page, images, and the formatting of the page all usually come from different places. But when these also point to outside files, all that downloading takes time. Well, evidently, the system is called Polaris. It sort of makes a map of all these secondary and tertiary download locations, and then the browser can overlap downloads more effectively, saving up to 34% of load time. Systems that track these nested objects called dependencies already exist, but MIT says that theirs is different because it functions regardless of the browser. This is because it's built in JavaScript, something nearly all functional web browsers can run. It's built in JavaScript.
Yay, JavaScript!
Yeah, which means it's not HTML5. And but anyway, now there's a Harvard professor who's visiting MIT explains that the system, in terms of traveling business person, if there are 20 cities on the agenda, it's far more efficient to plan travel from one coast to another rather than unnecessarily flying back and forth from New York to LA to Washington to San Francisco. The Polaris system works much the same way, making a graph of which objects can be loaded in tandem. Okay. And evidently, researchers that see a lot of traffic say that Polaris is able to work well on nearly any site because it just organizes the provided content more efficiently. The researchers are still looking at next steps, according to the representative from MIT, but are interested in feedback on the software and having others iterate on it. So they're planning to make the code public in the months ahead. So you can check it out for yourself. I'm just saying. Anyway, I can't believe it's still using JavaScript.
Well, hey, it's they were going for functionality, and they were going for something that they feel like everyone or every browser can use. And up until a couple of weeks ago, let's face it, it's been weeks, and these people have probably been working on this for months, if not years. Up until a couple of weeks ago, everyone supported JavaScript. It was just the way things were. And it's just very recently that more and more people are saying, okay, folks, we have a clear, concise plan to drop JavaScript altogether. I hope for the sake of these students that that it's pretty easy to transfer over to HTML5 code. But I do like the idea of faster loading web pages, because even that like 3 seconds of hesitation makes me like close the window and restart like the window.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't take much for me to start panicking and try to reload it.
No. Hey, by the way, remember that comment you made about downloading memory? Jonathan sent this as a comment. He says you can download the CAD file to a 3D printer to print your RAM.
I don't see why that wouldn't work.
Yeah.
All right, that's fair. All right, we'll start recommending that to people now whenever they call in.
Exactly. Thanks.
Get a 3D printer and just print your own RAM. I like that.
Yeah,
I like that. Probably won't work though. But we are here, and we are going with
one more story, maybe.
One more story. And should we scare you with the fact that the Pentagon has definitively said it has been using drones over the U.S.?
You already knew that.
Yeah, but it's still not a nice thing to hear. Or should we go with the company wants to be the next wants to be the Netflix of virtual reality, which I think we're gonna do. Okay. Virtual reality, it's a hot topic all of a sudden, and this is from Popular Science and Mr. Andrew Rosenblum. And yeah, this company wants to be the next Netflix of virtual reality, and it's called Next VR, which I think we've had on the show before. Next VR.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it wants to change how you watch sports. I think Next VR actually partnered with Razer. I think that's where we know them, and we actually interviewed them here on the show.
Maybe.
But, and I said we might have. We definitely did. It was about a year and a half ago, but we definitely did. Last fall, Next VR made history, broadcasting the Golden State Warriors home opener against the New Orleans Pelicans in 3D virtual reality. Starting tomorrow at Madison Square Garden, the Southern California company will embark on its second major event, live streaming more than 15 hours of the Big East men's basketball tournament in virtual reality. That includes the tournament's quarterfinals, semifinals, and title game, in total about 7 games, while the company won't disclose the number of users who will don the Samsung Gear VR headset to witness Butler's Roosevelt Jones' unique push shots. Next VR is banking that fans will have a strong appetite for VR-enhanced live events, because it has signed a 5-year deal in February with Fox Sports, which owns the rights to premier athletic events like the World Series, the Daytona 500, and 2017 Super Bowl. Ooh. So you can guarantee that each one of those major events, the World Series, NASCAR, and of course the Super Bowl, will be broadcast in 3D virtual reality. So yeah, of course he would categorize them as a Netflix of virtual reality. This is the next VR co-founder, whose previous credits include cinematography from for both a 3D broadcast of the NBA All-Star Game and IMAX film of a U2 concert. Netflix has a technology platform, but they also produce content, and we do produce content, but we're not a production company for hire. Mm-hmm. So, of course, they're going through all this, and it's going through fiber optic, and it's going to be filmed live at Madison Square Garden, and it's going to be a massive undertaking. But what will be different is that the live sporting event in this video encoding software on site that will convert the vast troves of data into streams that will then transmit to Gear VR users around the world. And yeah, this is just going to be very, very cool. We're not going to have time to get into the full article, but suffice to say, the tickets for this particular game are going to be about $800, and virtual reality costs about $800. So I think it's going to be very, very cool to see, just what they're planning on doing in the future, but also see how well this goes over. And I would really love to see the footage that they get out of this, because hey, if you can get this in virtual reality and you could sit at home, with your giant headphones on and watch in 3D virtual reality all the players in what seems like very, very good quality, I mean, it would be the next best thing to actually being at a basketball game.
Absolutely, I think it would. We have. I got a real short story that we can probably get into, and I won't really want to. This is from a gadget. Did you know? For Windows 10 users, Microsoft wants to take the text-free login one step further. Microsoft has quietly already posted a beta phone sign-in app for Windows 10 mobile that, as the name suggests, signs you into your nearby Windows 10 PC. You have to pair over Bluetooth with a tap of your phone. That's it. There's no guarantee that you can run it. You'll need the right credentials on top of living in an all Microsoft ecosystem. And if all the stars align, though, the Lumina in your pocket might be all you need to authenticate and start working on your computer, which is a little different. So if you have the proper hardware and the proper software, you could actually log into your Windows 10 using your phone, your smartphone. And that's kind of clever. All right. Well, listen, that about wraps up the show. We're pretty much out of time. Again, I want to thank Charles Tendell, who was here with us, certified ethical hacker, for joining us in the first hour. Actually, he stayed for a little bit longer, talking about all the news stories of having to do with hacking, and he gave us some really good insights. And hopefully, we'll have him back with us again once more, or several times. And I'm sure we will. It's not too long since he's been on the show. We need to get him back again.
Right.
And coming up,
90 seconds.
Coming up tomorrow, we're going to have a company called Simpiz. They make something called the iTron. This is a hyperspeed portable charger that charges your cell phone in minutes rather than in hours. You can charge your phone in a matter of minutes. A full charge. They're going to be on the first hour talking about this. That's actually very cool technology. Can you imagine that? I mean, your phone's running low, just charge.
I can imagine. I can't believe it. Those are two different things.
Well, they're going to be on
60 seconds.
The first hour, and then in the second hour, we're going to have computer and technology news brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. Again, thanks to Charles Tendell for being with us, and thanks to all of you for being with us on today's show. Don't forget, head over to computeramerica.com, register for our Friday social media winner contest. That's on Friday. Let's get your name in there so you could be winning that Logitech MX2 Anywhere wireless mouse. So Ben and I will see you here tomorrow afternoon, same time, same place. And so until then, until tomorrow afternoon, this is Craig Crossman, hoping that your hard disk never becomes floppy. We'll see you tomorrow afternoon.
Have a good one, everyone.
Bye-bye.
10 seconds. Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Okay, again, everybody, thanks so much for being with us here, and we'll see you tomorrow afternoon with Simpiz and more computer news. Thanks for watching our live video stream. Have a good one.
Good one.